Blessings. Um, I've had quite the day and a half, and am awake at 3 in the morning because my life is filled with a bit of anxiety, a lot of anxiety. Yeah, a lot. And yet, it's especially in these times when I need to practice my practice. I need to apply the principles that I know have worked in my life. And especially now, and I was inspired to create a video about it and talk about what is so vital to me that helps me move through the world with as much ease and grace as I can. Uh, so let's talk about the qualities of feeling grounded and abundant. I say that this is a process and that it takes an attitude, and that's very distinct from a, a bank account balance or uh, a collection of goods, a, a home with lots of stuff, or the latest car. I get it. My God, I love fun stuff as well. But what I've found is more useful, sustainable, and more deeply authentic is an attitude of groundedness and abundance. By cultivating this within ourselves, I think this gives us a significant amount of opportunity from which to move from. And it also makes us more receptive and perceptive to opportunities that may be coming towards us. So let's see how this goes. The idea here is to foster feelings of being rooted and connected, of feeling intimacy. So there was a visualization that I got of trees, plants in the ground. They are rooted by moving their cellular structure in these, smaller and smaller ways, deeper and deeper, uh, to such an extent that they are as intrinsically connected to the soil and earth as possible. So much so that you can't move a tree. It's not just stuck in cement. It has grown into becoming as much a part of the earth as it can. It is rooted. It is deeply connected. It is so connected that it is moving nutrients and vitality in every moment. And its entire being is about cultivating vitality. It is as intimate as can be. I think about the intimacy that people get in sex, the physical intimacy of touch, of intercourse, of connection through the physicality, and that manifests an emotional connection and intimacy, and even energetic and spiritual intimacy. It's in these times when we feel the most comfortable, isn't it? When we feel held and accepted, when we feel safe and part of something more than just ourselves, right? And you can extend these ideas into community and family. And, you know, I won't get political on you, but imagine if those feelings of connection and safety and acceptance were through and through your nation. How profound would that be as an expression of humanity? So let's also foster these feelings of preparedness, being ready, and a feeling of confidence like, yeah, I am ready to take this on. I know enough, and we'll get into that a bit later. I'm ready. And not only that, maybe I feel so ready that I can feel generous. I can give freely and abundantly because I am so ready. It's like um, showing up at I don't know, just a gathering and having and bringing like a harvest of fresh fruit that you just got from your trees. It's like, hey man, I've got so much to give. Take it, please. Or or, or maybe you're going in to help your child's school and it's just a couple hours of your time and you're an expert in whatever it might be in your profession, and you go and kids have all these questions, and you can confidently answer all these questions. And in fact, you're encouraging them to ask you more so that you can freely give of who you are and what you know. That feeling of generosity and rootedness, intimacy, preparedness, confidence. These are some of the feelings that we want to foster in this meditation. Besides the emotional feelings, the emotions, we're also going to try and evoke sensations because there's so much opportunity when we embody principles of life, when we embody the things that we've learned, the things that we value, the things that are important to us. We can move effortlessly because we've got it in our bones, right? That's the saying. We've got it in our bones. We are adept. We are deft with our, being able to manipulate things. You've seen some people that um, um, twirl pens or twirl batons or juggle or what have you. This is because they've practiced. They've got it in their bones. They can do it without looking. They can do it without thinking. They can certainly do it without trying, without putting in an effort, like a gross effort. They're just putting in the minimal amount of effort to get that thing done. So let's look at some of these sensations that we can imagine. The calm before the storm. Yes, there may be a storm coming, and there may even be anxiety, thoughts of anxiety, but there can be calm, like, oh, this is peaceful. It might even be eerie, but it's calm. Let's get into something a little more practical, like how it feels after you've had a good night's rest. It's so refreshing, isn't it? It's so much easier to move from. Maybe if you're in yoga, just that restfulness that we get from child's pose. And then stepping out of that, having given ourselves permission to feel rested. That when we move out of that pose, we can now step from a place of having been rested. If you're a martial artist, there's a horse stance, it's a ready stance. It is not a hard, rigid pose. It's a place of rest and readiness. Let's talk about, just getting paid. you want to go out, you want to have fun, you want to buy drinks, or buy dinner for your friend, or take somebody out on a date or something. You feel this generosity of spirit because you have a feeling of abundance. Yes, it's true. It's because you've got some more stuff, but we're focusing on the sensations in our bodies of how that feels, because that's what we want to cultivate within ourselves, so that we don't need to have that paycheck in order to have that feeling within ourselves. Maybe you just got laid. Ah, the ecstasy, the culmination of that 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 activity, that bond, that connection, that sweetness, that vigor with another person, or even yourself. And wow, that was good. Allowing yourself to have that, and then moving from that place. What do I want? Maybe I want some food. Maybe I want some. Maybe I want to go for a run. Maybe I want to get to work. I don't know what it might be. That feeling of is what we're trying to cultivate. Maybe you're an athlete. You're on the balls of your feet. You're ready. You're agile. You're waiting for the tennis serve, and you're just ready. You haven't decided where to go or how to respond or how to react, but you are ready, and you are relaxed, and you are calm. You're not tense. We know that that gets in our way. We want to try and relax and be ready so that we can spring into action. Or maybe it's that last breath before whatever. Maybe it's having just arrived from your commute. You've just parked. You're just about to go in. You take that last breath of, okay, what's next? And you go. Or maybe you're about to step into an interaction. It might even be a tense one with a colleague or a client or a loved one. And you pause and you collect yourself. You take that last breath and you're ready. All of these feelings, all of these sensations within our body, let's try and cultivate these. What we get from moving from centeredness into action is being the most prepared, being the most grounded, being the most ready. And when we cultivate this, we can stoke our confidence and honor our abilities. The flip side is that when we're working at our extent, when we're doing the most with what we have, we may make mistakes. We may be clumsy. And you think about the fact that, like, let's look at a professional ball player. They are professionals. They practice for hours and hours every day, for years. And yet, in the midst of, like, Game 7 in the World Series, they might make a mistake because they are playing at the very extent of their abilities. But all the way up until that point, they've developed this scope and breadth of capability and capacity to be able to respond and react in a widely diverse um, range of circumstances and possibilities, and man, some of the magic that happens from their bodies is extraordinary. It's thrilling, isn't it? The same thing can be said in our professional lives or in our family lives if we cultivate this, if we build up these abilities of ours. First and foremost, to know where we are, where our center is, where is our ground. and then to honor and develop our capacity and our capabilities of how much joy can we handle, how much sorrow can we deal with, how much challenge or anxiety can we tolerate and still stay grounded. It doesn't mean that we dismiss or we truncate our feelings and experiences, but instead we develop ourselves so that we can handle more when it happens, when life happens. But we do it without forgetting centeredness. This is an attitude. It's based on our feelings and sensations because this is how we perceive and interact with the world. And they are fueled by our beliefs. If our beliefs are limiting, then we are hindering ourselves from our own capabilities. But if we think that, hey, we can do this, then we can make progress, we can develop, and we can apply these principles in all our affairs. So the feelings that we've discussed so far are feelings of being restful and calm, peace, fullness. Oh, you just eaten a wonderful meal. You are satiated, you've had enough, and you've experienced maybe some exquisite cuisine, and you're ready for the next step. You're feeling happy. You're feeling joyful. You're feeling free. All the possibilities. These are what we're cultivating. The beliefs are that we do know enough, that we do have enough, and that we are being enough in and of ourselves. In this moment, we are absolutely enough. Now, maybe we are not experts yet. Maybe we are not professional major league ball players yet. Maybe we're just minor league. Or maybe we are just, you know, little league. Or maybe we're just opening a book to learn or talking to a friend to learn about something for the very first time. How do you cook that dish? How do you dress a little better? How do you put on makeup in a way that works? I don't know. All these different ways of life where we might feel like novices. But it's just a process. You start as a novice and you can absolutely develop to being an expert. But in every single moment, you are enough. You know exactly what you know to be a novice, to be a beginner, or to be an intermediate, or to be a master. This demands honesty with ourselves, knowing exactly who we are, no better, no worse, and not beating ourselves up for being less than, and certainly not making ourselves out to be more than who we are. That's the tricky one. We see a lot of people with cult of personality, and they're living in their heads as if they are the most important people in the world. And that's not fun to be around, is it? It's not fun to live that way either, I promise. I've done it. And, and if you can look at the people that are doing it outside of you, maybe you can have some compassion because they might look like they're having fun, but they're really reaching and searching and seeking for exactly what we're talking about, which is that you do know enough, that you do have enough in this moment, and that you are being enough in this moment. The truth is, as I said, you do know enough, you do have enough, you are enough, and this has always been the truth. You may have been misled, you may have been taught otherwise. It is a very, very common belief that people are not enough, that they must earn their way to being enough, that they must achieve enough to be enough, that they have to do or be a certain way in order to be enough, to be accepted, to be tolerated. Not true. That is a myth, that is a vicious lie. And the people that perpetuate those lies are not your friends. They may be in your family. They may say that they are your friends. They are not. They are stuck in the lie that they are not enough. And they need you to believe the same thing. This is not true. You are absolutely enough. Even if you have depression, even if you have suicidal thoughts or tendencies, even if you don't have any money at all, even if you are struggling with getting food, you are enough in and of yourself. You just happen to not have food right now. And it is a challenge and a problem to solve, but you are enough. You are worthy, and yeah, we're going to have to deal with these challenges. Hopefully, we can deal with these challenges together. Hopefully, you don't feel so alone that you feel like you have to get food all by yourself, or shelter, or love, or acceptance. You are safe in this moment. This is an attitude. Some of you may be in dire circumstances, and I bless you. I wish I could take that away from you. I wish I could take the possible threat of physical or emotional or any other type of harm. I wish I could dismiss and just blow those all away. I can't. But the thing that we're trying to cultivate here is that you can feel grounded within yourself. You, within yourself, are safe. Give that to yourself. Even if somebody else is threatening you, you, in relationship with yourself, are safe. You are trustworthy, and if you're not, then let's correct that. Act trustworthy to yourself. Act committed to yourself. Act loving and accepting and tolerant and compassionate to yourself. Be the safety for yourself. Cultivate this. If you need help, find people that are worthy. Find people that have what you want. This is how I was taught. This is how I learned it, because other people loved me until I could love myself. I'm trying to do the same for you right now. I love you. I accept you. I'm trying to cultivate this within yourself so that you can, as I do now, love yourself the way I love myself. You are home. Here's an opportunity to consider, what does that mean? What does home mean? It is everything that we've been talking about. The thoughts, the feelings, the sensations. Safe, abundant, enough, rested, at peace, in joy, in love, ready to live. There is a walking meditation by Thich Nhat Hanh that I learned at Deer Park Monastery in Escondido. It's what we're kind of playing with here. similar things that in most of our lives, we're just walking through life, dealing with whatever is coming our way. And we're doing it as lovingly as we can, as productively, as efficiently as we can. His walking meditation is flipping that around a little bit to where we don't move, we don't take a step until we are ready. And the way that we know that we are ready is because we are very clear that in this moment we are home. We have arrived. We are enough. We have enough. We know enough. We are enough. We are home. And when we're very, very clear about that, then we can take another step. And if something comes up and that takes our attention and we're not in that place of being home, that's great. We don't move. We address those things. We think about them. We decide what we want to do about them. We play around with the ideas. And then when we're ready to set that aside and get back to the notion, the belief, the truth that we are home, we connect to that feeling, those thoughts, those beliefs, and then we take another step. So, let's meditate. Let's take all these thoughts and ideas and these feelings, play around with that. And through this practice of meditation, we're looking for clarity. We're not looking for an answer. We're looking for clarity. We're going to sit in this space as clearly as we can so that we can cultivate this feeling within ourselves. And maybe we can do this through connecting through our chakras or focusing on any one of them. It's totally up to you. But the entirety of what we're trying to cultivate is that in our entire being, we are enough. And we have enough. We are at home within ourselves. This is the desired result of healthy, functional self-care. That when we do the self-care for ourselves each day or each moment, we're good. And we can proceed on, and then life happens. And maybe we need to come back and do some more self-care. And then we can proceed, and life happens. And we can, this is the process. This is life. So we're going to cultivate this in just a few minutes of sitting together on these pillows, or on the grass, or on the rocks, or in the river, or wherever you might be. We're going to cultivate this feeling of groundedness, of home, of being enough, of being in love. Because isn't that what love gives us? Acceptance, joy, connection, groundedness. Don't you feel at home when you are in love, when you are being loved, when you're feeling those feelings of love for someone else? Isn't that the juice? So let's play with that. Let's meditate just for a few minutes. And so in your mind's eye, in your thoughts, maybe you can imagine a bubble surrounding yourself. Maybe it's very close, maybe it's as close as your skin, maybe it's a few feet out. It can be elastic, change. It does not have to be rigid. In fact, it is magical because it's only semi-permeable. It's only going to allow those things within that are in your highest good. And all the things that are not in your highest good, not even the things that, the things that are kind of good for you, they're magically going to be given distance from your innermost being. And in this bubble, in this space of containment that you get to define for yourself, whatever color, whatever temperature, whatever feelings, this is home. This is safe. This is peace. This is center. This is grounded. This is ready for whatever might come. This is relaxed. This is supple. This can be joyful. This is love. Love never hurts. Pain and confusion cause hurt. But love never hurts. Light will never hurt you. Darkness, if you want to get esoteric, darkness won't hurt you. It's what people do with that darkness. It's people, it's choices, it's wound, it's pain. In this moment, that is outside. If you're feeling it in your heart, allow it to just dissipate. Find some room, some breath. Take a breath where that tension might be inside your bones, inside your spirit, inside your mind. See that as a darkness, a tension, a tightness, breathe in breath to that tension. Tease it out. Tease that tension out. Allow it to just disperse and dissipate and loosen just a little bit. And as you do that, maybe you can allow it to dissipate even further. And maybe you can even allow the force, the energy of love to push it even further out, so that it does not simply reside wherever it might have been inside of you moments ago. It may be a little bit looser, a little bit further away, a little bit less a part of you. Can you be willing to let that go? Can you be willing to let love tease that, pull that, dissolve that, dissipate that tension outside of yourself, so that you are a little bit closer, or truly you are home. So just for a few more moments, let's just focus with our mind, with our hearts, with our bodies feel the presence within ourselves of being at home. And if you want, you can pause this and enjoy this feeling as long as you can handle, as long as you desire. And do this over and over. Remember this feeling. You know this feeling. Recall it. Bring it back to your consciousness. Foster it. Develop it. Deepen it. Deepen your relationship with this feeling within yourself of being at home. Please. Please. So we're going to bring this to a close. We're going to open our eyes in just a few moments. We're going to see that the world is still there, and it's going to bring us opportunities in which to engage, and we get to be ready. We get to be in love first before we respond. We get to be in ourselves, honoring ourselves, respecting ourselves, loving ourselves. And then, with the abundance of love that we have, we can give love to others. We can be generous because we have enough. And here's the last nugget of truth. The love that we're feeling, because it is not dependent on circumstance, because it is our attitude, it is infinite. It is based on our belief. It's what we choose. And so, the love that is available to us will never run out. It might run out from a person's ability to express it, but love energy is infinite. And if we believe that, then it will always be available to us, as long as we choose it. So, back to this real world in 3, 2, 1.